It is Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock East Coast time. It is time for the Stokastic MMA strategy shows. We're here to get you ready for UFC Vegas 59, which goes down on Saturday night inside the UFC Apex, headlined by a light heavyweight matchup between Jamal Hill and Thiago Santos. Of course, I am Jason Floyd. As always, I am joined by the fighter Pete Rogers Jr. We are sponsored by Prize Picks. We'll talk about some of those props over at Prize Picks throughout the show. As I'm looking down here at my sheet, and there are several numbers I've highlighted over at Prize Picks that I like as we sit here and do the show here on a Thursday. Pete, what's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Super low level card. Not my favorite, but there are some interesting spots that we can target.
Oh man, it's I will tell you, I just literally just started looking at the salaries.
Yeah.
No, I sit there and look at it. I mean, like, I already knew what the betting odds were, so I kind of had an idea of where our salaries are going to be here this week. I mean, like, there's some fights that, I mean, you bring up a great point. This is kind of like, I heard Ariel Helwani mention this on a show earlier this week, and he's spot on. Like, we have 3 levels of UFC cards at this point. We have pay-per-view cards, top tier. That is the premium content. Then we got fight night cards in front of fans where they got to sell tickets, so they got to put on some high-level fights. And then we have UFC Apex cards.
Yeah, and I don't even know if this fits as Apex card. It's pretty low level, as I already mentioned. Some of these Dana White Contender Series cards are a lot better than what we are seeing on some of these desperate fight cards. But regardless, we're here. I'm excited to see Jamal Hill. I'm excited to see the co-main event. And then there's a ton of volatile matchups following that.
What are you talking about? The Ultimate Fire finales?
I'm talking about every other fight besides the main and co-main.
I love the co-main event. I think the co-main event's a great matchup there. Sam, as I've always been, I appreciate you there in the super chat. We'll get to your question here later on in the show. Artie, everything is well for me, man. It's nice and hot outside. I don't know what it's like in Connecticut right now, Pete, but here in Tampa, it is hot as can be.
Yeah, it's like 97 today in Connecticut, so it's we're having a very hot day. Yeah, it's
97.
It's bad.
Bro, it's only 90 here in Tampa.
Yeah, it's only 90.
I think this week is like one of our hottest weeks of the past, like, I don't know. It's crazy, but it's also like super humid as well. So it's going to be brutal at the gym tonight, and I can't wait.
Of course, we're going to break this one down for you. We're going to start right off with the main event. We got Jamal Hill taking on Thiago Santos. So, of course, as we do this show, FanDuel salaries are not out. If they do come out during the show, we'll kind of recap what those are. But $9,000 for Jamal Hill, $7,200 for Thiago Santos. Jamal Hill with a 3-inch reach advantage in this one. He's just over a 3-1 betting favorite. You got Southpaw versus Orthodox, but when we talk about Thiago Santos, Pete, to me, he's fought the elite of this division, has been able to get the wins. All starting off with that split decision loss. He had to John Jones, does have a win against Johnny Walker during the span, but the rest of, it has not gone well for him. And what concerns you from a DFS perspective of if you go, you know what, I want to take some shots on Thiago Santos, which I don't mind getting to, but to me, it's almost like a knockout or bust type situation.
It's a weird one, man, because you have Thiago Santos, who definitely has the known resume. He's fought tons of legitimate competition. People know who Thiago Santos is, especially because of that John Jones performance. The guy is super, super tough. In 2022, he's had so many injuries within his knees and damage throughout his career as well. But what he is he's always live to touch you and knock you out. So I don't want to discredit his ability to finish a fight. It's just, I feel like this is a perfect changing of the guard type of situation where you have Jamal Hill, nice touted prospect, got into a grappling match against Paul Craig, and that was not the correct game plan for him. This is going to be a striking affair. I don't foresee either one of these guys looking for a takedown. And I think that's that the style of this fight plays into the hands of Jamal Hill. Just has to be wise of the kicks, of course. It comes down to, do you think Jamal Hill's legit or not? And on paper, if people see that he lost to Paul Craig, they might be a little hesitant and willing to to, include Thiago Santos in their plus 240 pool. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, hey, I'll take some shots on Santos. This guy lost to Paul Craig. But styles make fights. I do think that Jamal Hill is clearly the A side. He throws a ton of volume. Just defensively, he has to be very, very careful because of that one-shot kill power of Thiago Santos, especially with the kicks. But I'm expecting Jamal Hill to roll here. I'm expecting him to back Thiago Santos down against the cage, out-volume him en route to a TKO victory. I don't foresee this going 5 rounds.
I mentioned about there are some plays over at Prize Picks that I've already highlighted here on my sheet. And one of those plays is involved in the main event, and that is the significant strikes landed prop over there on Jamal Hill of 30.5. I love the over in that situation. Like, as I'm starting to put together some cards to play over there at Prize Picks, that is one that I'm targeting. And I'll tell you, like, if you think that Thiago Santos can draw this fight out a little bit, I don't even mind going the over 10 minutes on the fight time.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I will do the significant strikes though. It's just a matter of if Thiago Santos wants to stay in there. We have seen him get knocked down at times. And, I'm not saying that he has some quit in him, but he's definitely better as the hammer than he is as the nail. David Branch knocked him down one time. Jack Marshman knocked him down one time. Gegard Mousasi, who's phenomenal. But I do think that the speed of Jamal Hill, the combinations are going to be too much. So I think that 30, whatever you just said for significant strikes,
30.5.
Yeah, I think it should hit the over, but it all comes down to the durability of Santos. So I'm picking Jamal Hill to win in convincing fashion, and I will take a shot on that over.
No question about it. Of course, this is the Stokastic.com MMA strategy show. We're getting you ready for Saturday's UFC Vegas 59. Of course, myself and Pete will be back here on Saturday, live before lock, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, be sure you want to show your support for the show. Great way to show your support. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to Stokastic right here on YouTube if you're not doing that, so you keep up to date with everything that we have going on over here at Stokastic.com. Of course, hit that notification bell so you get that alert for when a show is live here on the channel. And this week's free premium tools and data is our DraftKings MLB Night Owl, which will be free for the rest of the MLB season. All you got to do is click the link in the video description below to get free access to all of our tools and data for MLB DFS night slates. And if you like what you're seeing there, you can also find a coupon for $1 a week of Stokastic Plus MLB when you click that link. If you're ready to purchase now, you can use that promo code Night Owl at checkout. This will give you access to everything we have for MLB DFS for only $1. This offer is valid through Friday, August the 5th. So that is this Friday. Pete, I can't even believe it's already August. Like, July just felt like I felt like it was July 4th, like a week ago.
I know, it's crazy. Summer's just disappearing. Time is flying. And yeah, I haven't really done anything much this summer, so we got to change that.
Yeah, and by the way, you got to check out everything we have going on for MLB DFS when I am playing MLB DFS, because it's one of those sports that if I can't be around for live before lock and deeper dive, I typically don't play MLB DFS. But you got to check out all the great tools and data we have over there at Stokastic.com. At Top Stacks tool is obviously a big tool for me, figuring out which stacks I want to play and developing my cash lineups. I like playing a little cash to build that bankroll up over there, whether we're talking about our DraftKings or over on FanDuel. Let's move over to the co-main event of this fight card. It's a matchup that I absolutely love. Welterweight matchup between Vicente Luque and Jeff Neal. 8,500 for Vicente Luque, 7,700 for Jeff Neal. Looking at the tail of the tape on this one, both have the same exact height, a 1-inch reach advantage for Vicente Luque. Of course, Luque coming off that loss against Belal Muhammad, which I think kind of comes into, it'll be interesting to see, does Jeff Neal try to incorporate a similar game plan to what Belal Muhammad did back earlier this year?
Yeah, I mean, he has the coaching staff to come up with a great strategy, and that's why I am going to include Jeff Neal in my player pool. I would say a couple years ago, you can make a more of a case for Jeff Neal because he was the hot commodity within the UFC, and he has excellent punching power. So Vicente Luque, despite being a fantastic fighter and despite being a fantastic striker, he's taken a lot of damage throughout his career too. He's been in a lot of wars. And when a fighter's willing to engage in a war, you have to worry about their durability. But I can't knock Vicente Luque and not knock Jeff Neal for his war against, Nico Price. That was a crazy fight in itself. So I view this fight where it's a high level fight. And I always say prioritize main event and co-main event underdogs. Jeff Neal's going to be on the underdog pool, but I do foresee Vicente Luque getting his hand raised. I think he has more ways to win. It's just a matter of if he's a shell of himself now or if he's potentially exposed. But in a striking matchup, the volume favors Vicente Luque slightly. They're both pretty hittable. And it comes down to the durability. So I'm looking at the salaries. I agree with it. I think it's kind of right where it needs to be. And as an underdog at 7,700, Jeff Neal should be included because of, him having a correct strategy. Mixing in some takedowns with some big shots could influence the judges. So I'm going to be neutral to it. I'm going to see how ownership comes out. I'm picking Vicente Luque to win a fight. But like I said, Neal might be one of my most exposed underdogs on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, look at Vicente Luque. I mean, one of the questions that I think I have is whether or not he might utilize his own grappling. We really haven't seen it in a while with him, and thinking about, that DFS, ceiling for him. I think this is a fight that's likely going to play out over 15 minutes, which, over on the prize pick side of the equation, Vicente Luque, I'm looking at those props over him, particularly significant strikes land and fight time. I do like the over 54.5 on significant strikes landed because I'm thinking this fight's going to hit the third round. I think it's going to play a lot on the feet. So I think that 54.5 number is a great number right now. I think that to me is the number I want to play right now. I'm not even trying to wait to see where that number goes. The fight time of 10 minutes, I lean over on that one. It's not a strong lean for me this week. Like, to me, I love the over 30.5 on Jamal Hill significant strikes. And I really like the over 54.5 on Vicente Luque.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. I think it's going to be competitive on the feet. They're going to bring out a lot of volume, and I think the over on the significant strike something I'm going to target. The time as well, but with how skilled these guys are, a quick finish from either one of them wouldn't necessarily surprise me. So I'd much rather target that significant strike prop.
Bro, why do people want to spar you in the chat? I don't get this.
I don't know.
Do they not know what you can do?
Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. They must not know I train with heavyweights. It's okay.
Don't know you have pillow hands, though, Pete. You got pillow hands, bro. Pete over there.
Pillow hands, Pete. Yeah, there we go.
Bro, I probably got 75 pounds on Pete. I'm not trying to spar Pete because you know what? You know what's going to happen? He's going to go Brandon Moreno on me and just kick me right in the liver, and I'm falling straight to the ground.
It could happen. Moreno looked great. I did not expect that to happen. I think that his KO prop was super crazy. And everybody was on the submission prop or the decision. So that threw me for a loop, and it goes to show you that in MMA, anything can happen.
Dude, I mean, we talk about it every week. I mean, there's things that I talk to fighters about expectations of fights. And I think that fight last week, we had an expectation that Brandon Moreno was going to be able to score the takedown. He didn't score the takedown. I mean, he was 0 for 3 in the takedowns. I mean, that's one of these things where so many various things can happen in a fight where we just don't project. I mean, look, we sat here a week ago, and if I would have said, Pete, Amanda Nunes is going to score 6 takedowns, you probably would have said, Jason, you're crazy. Yeah. I think you said I was crazy anyway on Live for Lock.
Yeah, of course I did. And that was a terrible take on my behalf, and I'll own it.
Okay, all right. But here's the reality. It's going to happen. There's going to be a week where me and you're going to have a good little back and forth, and I'm going to be completely wrong. You're going to be completely right. It's just this week I was on the right side.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just recency bias. I put too much stock into that against one of the best fighters ever. It was a stupid take.
But it's a natural thing that we all do in evaluating fights, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, and that's why you gotta. I don't know.
But I mean, no, it's like, I mean, we can relate to Thiago Santos. We have recency bias there.
Yes, in a way. And everybody likes the new shiny toy, right? It's hard to pull out that old toy and be like, yeah, and they can come from behind, or they can defy the odds and pull it off. Thiago Santos is live. It's just, I think that outside of a Hail Mary shot, Jamal Hill walks through him.
Of course, let's get to Pete's favorite fights here. The Ultimate Fighter finale fights. First up, we got the heavyweight match between Zach and Usman. Usman 7,300, 8,900 for Zach. I spoke about this on shows I've done this week so far. When this season's cast was announced, I had someone in the MMA industry that I highly respect his opinion, because when it comes to regional MMA, he just he knows the scene. And he had said to me, he goes, Zach is a guy I circle as a favorite. Now, he's a light heavyweight. He's not really a heavyweight, even though it's a heavyweight matchup. He is a main training partner for Curtis Blaze there at Elevation Fight Team there in Colorado. Huge price tag over on DraftKings for him, 8,900, 7,300 is a return there on Usman. Zach is now over a 2.5 to 1 betting favorite in this one.
Yeah, so Zach Palga is interesting. I don't like the fact that he's a light heavyweight fighting at heavyweight. I think there are going to be certain matchups that are going to become extremely difficult because of the weight disadvantage. Now, with that light heavyweight style, the speed and the technical ability of Zach Palga could end up working in his favor, as long as he's able to, withstand that first round of Muhammad Usman. I do think that Usman's going to wing a big right hand and look to take him down, because at distance, at range, Zach Palga is too slick. I think he's way too slick, has so many weapons at his disposal. But again, this could be a live betting situation where round one, Zach Palga does not look like an $8,900 fighter. Come round two and round three, you're like, okay, now I understand why he had that price tag. So I think that the perception could flip because of Usman's early success. But the later this fight goes, the more I think Zach finds his rhythm and starts to piece Muhammad Usman up. It's just a matter of, comes down to strength and cardio. Muhammad's going to be extremely strong, but Zach training at elevation should work in his favor as the fight goes on, in addition to working with Curtis Blades all the time. So I'm going to take Zach Palga. Not going to cross off Muhammad Usman just because of how low level the entire season of The Ultimate Fighter was, in my opinion. We've seen plenty of better seasons. So an upset would not necessarily surprise me, especially if Usman just lays on him. And on a week like this, you could just have a 60-point fight make it into the optimal lineup as a winner. So leaning significantly in Zach Palga's favor, but don't cross off Muhammad Usman.
And look, this is not to come off as disrespectful of Muhammad Usman. Yeah. And it's just like when we talk about Antonina Shevchenko in comparison to her sister Valentina Shevchenko, there is a difference between the brothers here. Usman is a guy that, has been highly touted on the regional scene. And I think part of it was, his body frame that he has. But I think this is a Zach fight. I would expect that after this fight is over, we're going to see Zach go down to light heavyweight. I don't think you're going to see him stay there in the heavyweight division. And then over on Prize Picks, don't really love anything on this fight. If I was maybe going to look at anything, maybe look at that under 12.5 fight times on Zach. Outside of that, don't really love anything over there on the Prize Picks side of the equation on this one. Of course, we're here breaking down UFC Vegas 59. I want to let you know about a promo we got going on coming up for the upcoming NFL season. Of course, preseason starts tonight with the Hall of Fame game, as Underdog has launched their Puppy 3 Best Ball contest for the 2022 NFL season. You want to reserve your spot before it fills up quickly. With this, we are offering a $1 weekly access to our Best Ball kit through Sunday, August 7th. That's $8.99 off the original weekly price. This package includes Best Ball and season-long fantasy football rankings, Underdog daily draft rankings, and our Best Ball stacking guide, cheat sheets, premium articles, and more. To activate this offer, use that promo code PUPPY3 at checkout, or simply click the link in the video description below. That's promo code PUPPY3 for $1 weekly Best Ball draft kit access. Do you like preseason football, Pete?
I'm gonna like it tonight when I'm gonna bet on it. So
I don't know if you saw Dana White the other night, and he basically saying, if you're a degenerate gambler, how are you not betting on Dana White's Contender Series?
And he knows how to cut a promo for himself. That was very, very smart. And you use a night like that. Shout out to Billy Goff from Connecticut, a friend of a friend, and he looked good. He overcame a lot of adversity within that. And ended up having just
Billy's
good cardio.
used to that.
I know he needs to stop being used to that because he keeps bailing himself out, but props to him. The whole gym, my gym, training partners, coaching staff, we're all happy for him. So it was really cool to see him get signed. One of the first guys from our area to get signed. So again, shout out to Billy Goff.
Yeah, Connor Matthews, another Northeast guy. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the win. His opponent looked correct. Marshall looked
he
just
screwed up my parlay.
I
I couldn't believe how good that other kid was. Like, because we know Connor's good, gets a lot of finishes, but as far as being tested for 15 minutes, Connor, hasn't really met his adversary that could push him, and he did on Tuesday.
Yeah, man, it was an action-packed night. If you missed that, you should go back and check out. That was a fun fight, even though it didn't go Connor's way. It was a fun fight, man. He showed some toughness. I mean, he had that Juliana Pena toughness going for him. Some of those shots he was taking, bro. I'm just like, man, is this guy? I think that was a fight. Dana got up and walked over to the commission.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
And
that's what he was referencing. I heard him say that, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. That's the fight he's referencing.
I remember he got up and I walked and I saw that and I was just like, and then he mentioned, he said he talked to Herb Dean after it.
Yeah.
And Herb talked to him. He's like, this is why I didn't stop the fight. He goes, he was covering up. He was blocking punches. He was firing back punches. He goes, I'm not going to stop a fight when the fighter's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's
so weird, right? It's so weird. And then Derek Lewis gets dropped, face plants for a second. And then, when Dan tried to stop it, that was a good call. But by the time he got to him, he was on his way up. So now it looks like a bad call. You know what I mean? It's a split second in the sport changes everything.
Yeah, but man, you can't face plant.
I agree. I do agree with that. But how many times have we seen other refs let that go?
Oh, I like this is like, I brought this up on my show last night. Like, if you polled 10 referees and you said you're in a heavyweight matchup that's 2 strikers, 1 guy face plants, how long are you waiting until you come in and stop the fight? I think a lot of people would do what Big Dan did.
I think it's because it's heavyweights. That's exactly what it is. Like, say Brandon Moreno face plants Kai Kara France, or they're going to allow them to work back to their feet. It's just how it is.
By the way, I saw someone mention about Orion Koski. I actually interviewed Orion yesterday. And he mentioned the doctor nearly pulled the fight on weigh-in day.
Yeah.
When he got to 172.5, and he said, he goes, I was in a bad place.
It looked bad for him too in round 2. He looked like he was going to get knocked the heck out. So
yeah, and he said, he goes, the doctor basically told us if we kept trying to cut weight, the doctor was going to pull the fight.
Yeah, well, fix that and then use your wrestling more.
But it's also the other side of the sport. We talk about, the sportsmanship in this sport and everything. Yeah. The Koskis and City Kickboxing partied together Saturday night.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy, man. Like, as apologetic as he was for missing weight, I thought that was a very honorable thing to do, and to shed some light on his, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people won't own that moment, and he did, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, he had. I thought one of the interesting things, and it kind of made me think about, like, next time Blood Diamond fights.
Yeah,
he said one of the things they did is they saw a lot of similarities between Blood Diamond and how Izzy strikes, and they did a lot of comparison and contrasting between their 2 striking styles. So something to kind of pay attention to there. So let's move on to the next match. Why are you hating on Blood Diamond, man?
Bro, he's so bad,
dude. Here's the problem with that. UFC, don't book him against a grappler.
Yeah, but they don't care. They're not going to do. They're not going to do Izzy the favor. They should.
Yeah, this is like John Phillips back in the day. Why was John Phillips always being booked against a grappler?
Listen, if you sign him, you know what you're getting into. So either work with the style and try to make some fun fights. Like, look at Alex Pereira. They didn't give Alex Pereira like a nasty, but granted, he has 2 wins over Izzy, so that's why they actually give like him some winnable matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, put him up against a striker. Let's see if Blood Diamond can style on somebody in the striking aspect. But let's move over to the next Ultimate Fire finale. This will be at 125 pounds. You got Brogan Walker taking on Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller, the slight favorite in this one. She's 8,300, 7,900 for Walker. Walker has more experience. Juliana Miller training there in San Diego at 10th Planet alongside Alima McFarland, Liz Carmouche, among others. When I spoke to Alima, she told me that if she did not have a fight next week, she would actually be in the corner of Juliana Miller. And there's a lot of people who kind of like the upside here of Juliana Miller.
Yeah, so I love how you worded that, because I love the upside of Juliana Miller, because I think that she has a unique skill set. And whenever you have a submission practitioner within women's MMA, I think that they are more alive to pull off upsets, obviously, and more alive to really impose their will on their opponents. Now, I do think that she is pretty green in MMA. I have to say that. And as far as like the ultimate fighters that are the heavyweights, I can actually foresee Brogan Walker upsetting Juliana Miller more than I can see Muhammad Usman upsetting Zach Palga. So from an ownership standpoint, I'm going to get to Brogan Walker as one of the most exposed underdogs on the slate. However, I do think that it only takes one opportunity for Juliana Miller to really pick up a submission win over Brogan Walker. I think that she can take the back, look to land a takedown. But my issue with this, from our odd shopper video to this now, I like the prop bet of Juliana Miller to win via submission. I just wonder if the strength and size of Brogan Walker could lead to a little bit of inefficient takedown attempts. You know what I mean? Like, Brogan Walker could just, shrug her off, keep it on the feet. And if it is on the feet, I do think that she is the A side. So split exposure here. I'm going to be picking Juliana Miller, but pretty neutral to ownership.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't know if this is really a fight in terms of GPPs that I will necessarily target. I might limit a little bit of exposure on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at ownership projections right now, I kind of like getting if that number stays where it is, I could see myself probably maybe getting a little bit more on the field than Juliana Miller, but to me, she's got to be able to impose her grappling. That to me is the key. And I like what you said there. This thing stays on the feet. Yeah, Brogan to me is the play I would want to get to a little bit more there. Let's move on to the next matchup. It's a heavyweight matchup. Sergey Speedback taking on Augusto Sakai. 8,800 for Sergey Speedback. 7,400 for Augusto Sakai. Of course, Augusto Sakai has been on a bad losing streak here, I should say. He has lost 3 in a row against Tatu Avasa, Jair Rosenstruck, and Alistair Overeem. Sergey Spivak coming in off that win against Greg Hardy. This is one of those ones where, I mean, the price tag, Pete, like,
gotta be careful.
Can Sergey Spivak go the takedown city route?
Should. He definitely should. And that's my problem with this fight. I think in a bubble, I like Sergey Spivak in 2022 more than I like Augusto Sakai. It's very easy to say that, especially because Augusto Sakai has been knocked out and TKO'd in his past 3 bouts, right? Granted, it's against big, heavy hitters and fantastic competition. Alistair Overeem, Jairzinho Rosenstruck, and Tai Tuivasa. Those guys are going to touch you and drop you. As far as takedowns, we did see Alistair Overeem land 3 of 3 and have 5 minutes of control time. And I do think that's a sneaky path to victory for Sergey Spivak. The issue is sometimes when Sergey gets hit, he mentally checks out. And I wonder if Augusto's able to shrug off some of these takedown attempts from being a big guy. What happens to Sergey if he's forced to stand? You know what I mean? He hasn't scored a knockdown in the UFC yet. He's been knocked down in his debut against Walt Harris, knocked down against Tom Aspinall, and he just looks a little bit uncomfortable. I do think he's developing. So I'm going to be picking Sergey Spivak here because it's pretty hard for me not to get to a guy that has grappling potential going up against a guy who's been knocked out 3 times in a row. But Augusto Sakai training an American top team should improve his, he should be a little bit more prepared for this bout. And as long as he's able to keep it on the feet, it's a 50-50 fight. If it's on the feet, it's a 50-50 fight. If it is in a clinch or it hits the mat, then that 8,800 for Sergey Spivak makes a ton of sense. So Augusto Sakai, okay, this week's weird, right? Like normally I plant flags and I'm pretty vocal of who I really like. And I like some of these matchups a lot, some of them we'll get to. The main event I really like. I like Jamal Hill a lot. but this is a sprinkle GPP type of card where volatility is everywhere. And especially in the heavyweight division, you're not going to talk me off of getting to an underdog Augusto Sakai, but because of what I'm seeing in 2022, I'm picking Sergey Speedback.
I look over Prize Picks, 7.5 minutes is the fight time prop on Sergey Spivak. The one that I would more be looking at is that takedowns 1.5.
Yep.
So I think that maybe one to, maybe if you want to sprinkle in an overplay on that one. Next up, the opening fight of the main card is a female flyweight matchup between Ariane Lipski and Priscilla Cachoeira. Cachoeira 7,800, Lipski 8,400. Pete, I mean, this is a fight that should play on feet. I mean, look, this is the lower level of the UFC women's flyweight division.
This card is going to be the death of me. Like, I'm having to break this film down, and I'm having to like actually make a case for some of the. How about I don't make a case for nobody? How about that? But like Priscilla Cachoeira is always going to be an underdog. She's always going to be an underdog, and there's a reason why she's an underdog. It's because she walks forward. She eats a ton of shots. The strikes absorbed numbers are absolutely ridiculous. She absorbs 7.9 strikes per minute. Obviously, a lot of that is overblown because of how many times she's been punched in the face. Ji-Yeon Kim punched her in the face 170 times, and somehow Priscilla Cachoeira walked away with that victory. Doesn't make much sense to me. Luana Carolina, 111 times punched her in the face. Miley McCann, 107. Valentina Shevchenko, 95 times to 2, and it was a second round finish. So like striking defense is non-existent for the zombie girl, and hence her nickname. She walks forward. She trusts her chin a little too much. And that trust in her chin that she has, I think, is going to catch up to her. Ariane Lipski actually scored 2 knockdowns in her previous bout against Manny Baum, one against Isabella de Padua. I think that the Queen of Violence hasn't shown her best stuff inside the UFC. I had a lot more of I held her in a lot higher regard coming into the UFC, and I thought she'd have a lot more success. She stumbled out of the gate, and she's been quite inconsistent. I think she's going to have a more well-rounded game, man. Like good kicks, good distance striking, not get lured into the brawl. If she does, then anybody's live to getting knocked out or getting hurt against Priscilla Cachoeira. But like she's only finished one fighter. She's only knocked down one fighter in the UFC, and that was Shayna Dobson. She got a TKO over Gina Mazzani, who has that quit in her. So I have to pick Ariane Lipski here. As far as like mixing and matching, will I have some lineups with 7,800 Priscilla Cachoeira? Sure. Will I go over the field and be completely confident? No, I won't. But something that's consistent about MMA DFS is that in women's MMA, the underdogs sometimes sneak their way into the optimal lineup. So don't cross her off, despite how bad you want to cross her off. I'm picking Ariane Lipski, and it's a fight I hate.
Look, it's this is not my favorite card, but we're here to break this one down for you. Of course, we're sponsored by Prize Picks. They got their daily prop-based contest, and be sure to use that promo code AWESOMO for instant first match deposit of up to $100, as 5-player lineups can net you up to 10 times your entry fee. Of course, use your knowledge on multiple sources, cross sports entries. Click that link below to head over to prizepicks.com, where you can download the Prize Picks app in the App Store or on Google Play. I've been mentioning about some of the ones that I like. To me, my number one play right now is that over 30.5 on significant strikes for Jamal Hill. On Vicente Luque, I like the over 10 minutes fight time. I also like the over 54.5 significant strikes. And the other one I'll tell you that is one I like is a fight that we haven't talked about yet, but is the under 2.5 takedowns on Jason Witt.
Yes, I'm with you on that because I think that a KO is coming.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things of the two. I mean, like, look, if Jason Witt's going to win that fight, he's going to be landing multiple takedowns. But to me, I definitely prefer to go to the under on that one. I'll tell you, I'm not in love with this, but the 20.5 significant strike prop on Terrence McKinney is also an interesting one. I want to see where that one goes. That's not one that I would play right now. I would wait to see where that line is on Saturday, because if you want to take the over, I think we might get a better number on Saturday.
That's so close, right? Because like everything's projecting for a very, very quick finish. I mean, he could just take him down and sub him. That's a complete possibility as well. So I'm not sure I would be looking at that, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but we'll talk about Terrence McKinney here in a moment. But before we get to him, we got to go over to our next matchup at 185 pounds. Michal Oleksiejczuk taking on Sam Alvey. Sam Alvey, 6,900, 9,300 for Oleksiejczuk. Look, I don't know how you can roster Sam Alvey.
Counter hook, check hook coming. It ain't
7 and 1 no contest in his last 8 fights, Pete.
Imagine doing that. Like, imagine losing 8 fights and still having a job in the best promotion in the world. He's got some dirt on somebody. And this man is still, and this man is in the UFC. I don't know how he's staying around, or maybe that smile's going a long way. I don't know what the hell his strategy is, but he's keeping a job, and it's absolutely crazy. And it seems like the matchmakers are like, let's get rid of this guy. Let's get rid of this guy. I don't know if he took pennies on the dollar when he signed his contract, what happened, but Michal Oleksiejczuk is clearly the A side here. I only worry about Alvey just landing a counter hook. It can happen. I think it's like a less than 10% chance happening. Michal should go out there and obliterate Sam Alvey any way he chooses to, put the pressure on him. Alvey backs himself up against the cage. And banks on that power too much. I think Michal is going to touch him. He can even take him down if he wants to. I think it's going to be a violent finish for Michal Oleksiejczuk. But Sam Alvey does lure his opponents into a slow-paced fight. Mm-hmm. So that is the only worry about that hefty price tag at 9,300. That slow-paced fight mixed with Michal's crazy pressure fight. I'm interested to see what kind of fight we get, but it should be a Michal victory.
And I want to see what Oleksiejczuk looks like on the scales, dropping down to 185 pounds. By the way, Sam, that R word, do not believe that R word.
Yeah.
Do not believe it. At some point, Pete's going to say that R word to me, and I'm going to go, you're lying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't.
Like if I said true, false, Sam Alvey fights Rashad Evans and Eagle FC within the next 6 months. What are you going?
Damn, bro. I think you just came up with a great match. Too bad Rashad.
It'd be a rematch.
Too bad Rashad lost to him already. Yeah. Crazy.
June 1, 2018, bro. Last time Sam Alvey won the fight.
I think I bet on that fight too. Pissed me off.
That was a split decision win against John Vellante, where Sam Alvey landed 59 total strikes, 53 significant strikes, no takedowns, and 1 knockdown.
Do you think you might as well sprinkle some money on that split decision line? Because for some reason, these judges, I really don't understand it. I think he gets finished, but I'm just saying, if you got some silly money, you just want to throw $5 on something silly, split decision, might as well.
But yeah, you might as well throw that one out there. Let's move over next up to a lightweight matchup. Terrence McKinney taking on Eric Gonzalez. Terrence McKinney, 9,500, 6,700 for Eric Gonzalez. Now a 9-1 betting favorite, was as much as a 10-1 betting favorite for Terrence McKee. I had Terrence McKee on my show last week. Ooh. And probably the biggest thing, one of the bigger takeaways I took from him was we were talking about perception versus reality. And he said, he goes, I don't want the perception out there of people thinking I have bad cardio. And he talked about it's been a point of emphasis, of working on the cardio, has incorporated lifting weights into his training of bulking up a little bit here. But the one thing he said to me, he goes, I said, what do you want to be known as? He goes, I don't want to be known as a guy who has a great chin. He goes, I want to be known as a guy who finishes fights.
Yeah, I mean, I like Terrence McKinney. I really do. And I think that he has some really good wrestling, some good power, some submission skills. His wrestling is what's going to separate him from a lot of people within this division, just being able to blend everything together. I have to tell you, though, I think he has poor cardio. I know that he wants to dispute that and say that he doesn't want to be known as that. He could make changes. He could look better than ever. Absolutely. The issue is his pacing. He does not pace himself in a 15-minute manner. He paces himself in a round 1 manner, which is great for us DFS players. But every now and then you're going to meet your match. And Sean Woodson on a Contender Series that was, back in 2019, knocked him down despite getting taken down by flying knee. So I can't really hold that against him. He came out really quick finish, 7 seconds over Matt Frabola. and then a very dominant performance, 2 minutes and 11 seconds over Farziem. Throughout his career, you can see he's just a finisher. Like he's absolutely justified to be at this price tag against Eric Gonzalez. But, that round one against Drew Dober, he did take some shots too. He handed out some crazy, crazy shots to Drew Dober and had him moments, if not seconds from being out of there, and landed 2 takedowns, a knockdown. Looked like he was on his way to exploding with like 140, 150 fantasy points. So I think Terrence McKinney's price tag is completely justified, and it comes down to the rest of the fights on the card. Now, trying to be a fortune teller and predict scores is going to be difficult. I think that from the 9,000 options, he has some of the best quick win bonuses, quick win odds, best round one odds. It's just the lineup construction. If you don't like underdogs, you're going to find it difficult to get to Terrence McKinney. If you like underdogs, you should prioritize Terrence McKinney.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, look, it's, he's a guy, he told me, he goes, I'm not seeking a fight of the night bonus. That's just not my mentality. And he also, I think the other side of this, remember his main training partner, Saeed Yokub, and we saw what he did there against Ronnie Lawrence. They're trained there up in the Northwest together.
Yeah.
So that is something to think about.
Absolutely.
So Saeed is pushing that cardio on him every day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm interested to see. I don't think that we saw the best of Eric Gonzalez. Anytime you lose to an aging veteran in spectacular fashion, people are going to be hesitant about you. I'm going to have a couple shares just because 6,700 is always tempting, but I really think that he's going to get finished inside 2 rounds.
Next up, we have got a welterweight match between Brian Battle and Takashi Soto. Battle 8,700, 7,500 for Takashi Soto. And of course, Brian Battle win that season of the Ultimate Fighter, and he is moving down to the welterweight division for this one, Pete.
Yeah. I'm going to do this from now on, and I'm going to do a hot take week to week. And I'm going to create a group of lineups for my hot take. Not going to go like 100% on it, obviously, because, that has mixed results. Sometimes it works really well when I have Bill Algeo. It works really poorly when I have Juliana Pena. So what I will say is hot take of mine is that Takashi Sato upsets Brian Battle. I think that Brian Battle is extremely hittable. I do think that he's good, and it's hard to bet against him just because he keeps defying the odds. He was not suspected to win the season. He wasn't. He was expected to, contend and put up some tough fights, but he doesn't do any one skill in spectacular fashion. He's just above average in every department. And being tough and being able to take damage can work in your favor, especially if you have better cardio than a lot of people. And if you have more ways to win, you can test people in other areas that they are weak at. I do think that Takashi Sato has a terrible habit of giving up his back, getting taken down, and then getting exposed in the grappling department. On the feet, though, I do think that Brian Battle cutting weight is interesting because you want to know if he's going to be a shell of himself at a lighter weight class. Does not always translate into instant success. As far as for getting a submission over Takashi Sato, I don't think that is as live as many people are predicting, because Gunnar Nelson had his back numerous times and was unable to do so. I'm just going to say that Takashi Sato is one of these guys that's priced at 7,500 that I'm probably going to get more than the field. So that is going to be my hot take of the week. It's a fight in general. I will have plenty of shares. I will have plenty of shares of Brian Battle because of Sato's lack of defending takedowns and getting ragdolled in his losses. But as far as underdogs with high scoring potential, I think Sato can hurt him on the feet. We saw Battle get hurt against Tresean Gore, who has turned out to be an absolute fraud. And that blew my mind. But yeah, so Takashi Sato, 7,500 is going to be my lean.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these fighters underneath 8,000 and thinking of, 100-point ceilings, Takashi Sato is one of those ones I look at and say, I want to get to him. And I want to get more than the field currently is.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're projecting him at 15%.
Yeah.
I want to get more than 15%.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my hot take. It's not like lock the guy in. You can't lock anything in for the most part in MMA, but I'm going to have a lot more than the field. And people just look at his box score, and it's been it's been suspect, but I think that he can do better than what he's shown.
And when you want to get access to all the ownership projections we have, you got to sign up for a Stokastic Plus Platinum Pass. Of course, gives you full access to all the premium content and tools on Stokastic.com, including ownership projections, that top fire tool, premium Discord channel, and so much more. We got a deal for you. If you're a new Stokastic Plus user, as you can save 50% off your first week of any Stokastic Plus pass. These are the tools and data myself and Pete and everyone here at Stokastic.com uses every single day to develop our lineup. So all you got to do to take advantage of this offer is click the link in the video description below, or you can head over to our join page, use promo code MMA Strategy Show, all caps, one word. That's MMA Strategy Show for 50% off your first week of any weekly package. So if you just want to play MMA DFS, you can sign up for that Stokastic Plus MMA weekly pass. Get 50% off your first week. Again, this is for new users only. And of course, Fancy Cruncher can easily be added to your account. And of course, I'll be putting those groups in Fancy Cruncher. And when you use that promo code MMA Strategy Show, you're helping out your guys over here. You're helping us out over here.
Yeah, that's right. You guys enjoy what we're doing. Hit that like button for us. Get us over 150 likes. It tells the channel, it tells the company that you guys appreciate what we do. We appreciate you guys checking us out each and every week. And if you could use that promo code MMA Strategy Show.
And of course, sign up for that pass, get that top fire tool, which is literally the tool is sitting right here on part of my screen here, looking at here. So next up, we got a welterweight matchup, Josh Quinlan taking on Jason Witt, 8,600 for Josh Quinlan, 7,600 for Jason Witt. Unfortunately, I was supposed to talk to Josh, but a little conflict came up there. But of course, this is his first fight since he tested positive for a banned substance. He owned up to it on his Instagram. So take that for what it's worth. Jason Witt here. We talked a little bit earlier about over the Prize Picks props, so that 2.5 takedowns, like in the under there. I mean, look, if Jason Witt's going to pull this one off, but he's got to utilize grappling.
Yeah, you're going to need this fight, in my opinion. I think you need the winner of this fight because one way or another, you're going to have a crazy score. If Jason Witt decides to stand and trade with Josh Quinlan, I think he's going to get knocked down. He might have one of the most historically worst chins. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because I'm sure Jason Witt's a really nice guy. He's just taken a lot of damage. So, and we're playing a game here. We're playing DFS, and, getting knocked out against Takashi Sato, getting knocked out against Matt Semmelsberger, getting knocked out against Phil Rowe, despite having takedown success. Like, that's the thing with him. Like, it's not, oh yeah, he gets the takedown, then that means he's going to win the fight. At any point, you don't know if any of these shots that land are just going to put him out. This chin is really, really bad. And I do think that if Josh Quinlan has anything, he's got a lot of power. And believe it or not, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well. So I think that he's going to have the Jiu-Jitsu skills to get back to his feet. Obviously, I worry about any fighter getting ragdolled, but everything I'm seeing is that Josh Quinlan's a guy that I'm going to be backing. Now, how much does that banned substance popping for PEDs play into his performance throughout his career? That's that little asterisk that we need to put. We don't know, right? Like, he could have been using this banned substance throughout his entire career, and that's why he's had so much success. And he's going to come out flat, shell of himself, zero confidence, and get ragdolled. I'm not going to make lineups like that. I'm going to think that I'm going to take a stand on Josh Quinlan. I think he's in a extremely winnable spot here against a soft chin. So Josh Quinlan is going to be a guy I'm going to be looking at ownership, and I'm going to get more exposed. But in general, you need this fight. Jason Witt has tremendous takedown upside, as evidenced against Cole Williams, where he scored 105, and even Brian Barberena. And guess what? Barberena just beat Robbie Lawler. So, I mean, that's a pretty big win.
49%, Pete.
What?
That's the ownership right now on Josh.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I understandable. But I mean, look, if you want to put some questions on Josh of, how much did the banned substance play into your performance?
That's like things you don't know. So it's sometimes good to not know a lot about a sport you're betting on, because if you're looking at things for what they are, you're like, this guy has a path to victory, and and you just see that, let's call it 15% ownership for Jason Witt. I don't know what it is. Then you could possibly just say, I'm going to double that, and you have a better chance and more leverage on the field.
8%.
Yeah. And I would agree with Sean saying that's awful. That's a ton of ownership for a guy coming off a Contender Series. Very true. Very, very true. And I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm not going to I don't know. We'll have to see what I do, but I think that Quinlan's going to get it done.
Next up, we got our first two fights of the night are both in the women's division. First off, we got a strawweight matchup between Corey Mckenna and Miranda Granger. 9,100 for Corey Mckenna, 7,100 for Miranda Granger. Pete, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts are Corey Mckenna is supposed to be a prospect, and Elise Reed, a fighter that I do not hold in high regard, was able to pull off a victory over her. Granted, it was a split decision victory, but on the feet, Mckenna just looked uncomfortable. She did. Like, she's able to get takedowns. All right. She got 3 takedowns and had 3 minutes and 46 seconds of control time. Elise Reed is not really known of having fantastic takedown defense. Like, she has okay takedown defense, but in the matchup following, she got ragdolled against Sam Hughes, 4 takedowns en route to a TKO finish in round 3. So it's like, who is the fraud in this situation? Is it Corey Mckenna? Is it Elise Reed? It's tough to really tell. Now, with Miranda Granger coming off of a long absence due to being pregnant and having a child, her first fight back, it's tough to hop right in and already feel acclimated and being able to pick up a win when you just haven't been active. So I think naturally everybody's going to be flocking towards Corey Mckenna because she has takedown upside. My issue here is the size. Like, the size of Miranda Granger might actually make this very difficult. So I'm going to be more exposed to Granger than I would Mckenna. Doesn't mean I'm picking Granger to win the fight, but as far as like DFS score, she's 5'7", McKenna's 5'3". She has 68-inch reach. Mckenna has 58-inch reach. So that's 10 inches. And Granger has some sneaky submissions. So I'm gonna take Granger more than the field is gonna take Granger, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna prioritize this fight.
That reach advantage, man. That is the thing that sticks up right off the screen when you look at that matchup. Yeah. We got one more fight. The first fight of the night, Miranda Bueno Silva taking on Stephanie Edgar. Silva 8,200. Edgar is 8,000. Pete, what's your take?
My take is this card. Jason, I need to go calm down. I need to go meditate after this. This is like the most stressful card ever.
I feel like you're ready to punch people in the face.
I'm ready to go do something.
Ed Rogers Mixed Martial Arts Academy.
Yeah, they're lucky it's the kids' class tonight, so I'm gonna have to hold that in for tomorrow. But I have to tell you that, Mayra Bueno Silva has more skills than Stephanie Edgar. My issue with Mayra Bueno Silva is lackluster volume at times, not all the time. Plotting style, so she's extremely hittable, and getting controlled on the mat, because when she has been taken down, she loses minutes of the fight because she's getting controlled. Stephanie Edgar is a great judoka where she's able to, lure her opponents into a false sense of security, and then she hits them with beautiful haragoshis, uchimata throws, and it really throws off her opposition. I'm going to have exposure to Stephanie Edgar, as a lot of people are, but I feel like she's bound to get knocked out one of these times. And I know Mayra Bueno Silva hasn't knocked anybody out in the UFC. I think it's coming, man. I really think it's coming. And I think it might be here because Stephanie Edgar on regional promotion, she was, en route to getting finished. And then it was weird. She got hit with a ton of shots. Her mouthpiece went flying. She was about to get finished. The referee put the mouthpiece back in and reset them. It was the strangest thing. So I just think that Mayra Bueno Silva is going to be my lean. But naturally, every single week, I'm going to have, really, really close ownership with that 8,200, 8,000 fight.
By the way, FanDuel salaries are now out. Looking at the low end options, Takashi Soto, $10 sticks out to me. Miranda Granger, $12. I really like that 10-inch reach advantage. But what can you expect out of her? On the high end, Terrence McKinney, shocker here, $23. Jamal Hill, $22. Mahal Olashaychuk is $21.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, some spots will target, and I will definitely look into that more so for Saturday's show. But the McKinney makes a ton of sense. He has some of the best round one odds.
Let's get
and as far as go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And as far as like Sean V saying, I agree with him. Silva has a ton of subs. And he doesn't think Edgar automatically gets the big edge in the mat. I would agree. using her Brazilian jiu-jitsu to get back to her feet, getting that underhook where a lot of fighters are just kind of a fish out of water. And I do think that she is pretty physical. That power that Mayra Bueno Silva has, I look and I'm like, how has she not knocked anybody out? And she's working out of Combat Sports Academy, dabbling with Kieran Fitzgibbon. So it's like, I think it's coming, man. I think a knockout's coming.
Of course, let's get into our straight up fight picks before we answer the super chats and get out of here for this edition of the Stokastic.com strategy show. Of course, come here later today. You got MLB Deeper Dive at 5 p.m. each time to get you ready for tonight's MLB slate. Main event, I will go Jamal Hill.
Yeah, Jamal Hill.
Co-main event, Vicente Luque. Zach Palga in the heavyweight finale of tough.
Zach Palga.
I will go Juliana Miller in the female matchup.
Oof. Yeah, I'll go Juliana Miller. I hate that.
I will go Speedback.
Lipsky.
Olachechuk.
McKinney.
This will be one of two dogs for me. Give me Takashi Sato.
Ooh, you're doing it with me. All right.
I want to see what battle looks like on the scale too, so it could change a little bit.
Yeah, so this is pending, but I'm still going to say Sato.
I will go Josh Quinlan. I will go my second underdog, Miranda Granger.
Okay, it's more of a DFS play for me, but I'm going to pick Corey McKenna to win the fight.
And I will go Bueno Silva in the opening fight of the night.
Bueno Silva as well.
Sam, his first super chat, appreciate it, man. Best fighter under 8K. I don't really like any really.
Yeah, initially I looked at this card. I'm like, can you imagine building 150 lines for this card? I'm probably going to do it.
Best fighter, Jeff Neal.
Yeah, if pound for pound skill wise, Jeff Neal is clearly the most skilled underdog. Yeah, not even close.
Samuel says, loving the chime on the best bets from the Takedown City show. Of course, check out Takedown City over there on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel. New episodes come out on Wednesday nights. It says, what will the highest parlay plays 5 to 7? Look, I don't like doing 7-leg parlays.
Hell no.
Look, if you're just, doing a $5 parlay and you just want to go crazy with it. Okay. But
that's a lottery ticket. Yeah.
I like 3 and 4 parlays.
Yeah. I think
that's kind of my sweet spot.
Anything more than 3, I feel like I get knocked right upside my head. So, and shout out to the Odd Shopper video. If you are not checking it out, please do so. Go to our Odd Shopper channel. Shout out to our producer, Tyler, and everybody else behind the scenes. Tyler's been killing it, putting a lot of extra work in. So we appreciate you.
Samuel, he's got his usual super chat. His over under number here, 6.5.
That's a good one. I'm going under. This card smells. It is bad.
Yeah, I'll say under.
Yeah,
I'll say under. What's the prop bet of Pete fighting in 2022?
I don't know. We'll see.
TBD.
Some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's things can come together quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know.
I'm training like, and I've been for a while too. So it's like I'm not gonna be Miranda Granger out here where you don't have a lot of unknowns. I'm in the gym every single day.
I mean, let's just say there has been some times previously where someone might have texted Pete going, "You be able to take a fight in 2 weeks?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That stuff can happen pretty quickly here. Top two cash for me would be Jamal Hill,
Terrence McKinney.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to pick two of the most expensive.
Yeah, but it makes sense though for cash. Yeah. That's what you want, Yeah.
GPPs.
I will go fights. I think the Jason Witt Quinlan fight is one of the best for GPPs. I will also say the Mayra Bueno Silva, Stephanie Edgar one as well. It's at that sweet spot.
The Speedback is another one that kind of sticks out to me too.
Good one.
Top two underdogs. I will go Takashi Soto and I want to say Jeff Neal.
I'm with you on that. I think Augusto Sakai is right there. That's kind of like my 3-headed monster. There's there's very few underdogs that I don't want any exposure to. Everything else is going to be mixing and matching.
Favorite inside distance plays for me would be Terrence McKinney.
Yep.
And then I would probably go. I want to see what he looks like on the scale. Old Shaychuk.
Okay. I think Jamal Hill's at an interesting spot too.
Yeah. Top leverage play. So as we sit here on a Thursday, I'm looking at it. Juliana Miller, I think, is an interesting leverage play on an ownership aspect.
Yep.
It's
gotta be Jason Witt too. Gotta be.
Yeah, Jason Witt's a good one. Corey McKenna is another good leverage spot too. She's not really getting much ownership. Top optimal plays. I gotta look at guys who I think are going or fires who I think can go take down City. You know, I mean, you hate to say it. If Terrence McKinney goes down, that's what he did against Drew Dober.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that 130 type of performance out of McKinney if Gonzalez is able to survive.
Yeah. Top dart plays for me. McKenna, Sato. Those would be my two.
Yeah.
Sam says Neal or Sato, who will score more on DraftKings?
I think Neal is more alive to win a decision, whereas Sato, I don't know if he can be the better minute winner against Brian Battle because Battle has good volume and will push a pace, especially if he's down. We saw that in Trayshawn Gore when he was met with adversity. I think Neal could squeak out a decision.
Yeah. I feel like if it's a cash game, I would go Neal.
Yes.
If it was GPP, I go Sato.
Agree with that.
Just in kind of and look, it always comes down to what type of game are you playing? You know, cash, GPP, large field, small field, you know, things along those lines.
Yes, sir.
Those are always kind of things that I'm thinking of there. But that is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Stokastic.com MMA Strategy Show. Appreciate everyone checking out the show. If you happen to be listening to this on the podcasting platforms, give us that 5-star rating and review. That really does help us out a lot as well. So we'll be back on Saturday for Live Before Lock. Hopefully everyone has a great afternoon, and we will talk to you on Saturday right here on Stokastic.com. Have a good day, everybody.